My name is Brian, and I'm part of the organizer of these Tech Talks, and I'm happy to have you here tonight. So, I first apologize for the power cutoff. You know, we are in Africa, so we have to get used to such a disappointment, I guess. So, but we are here to change that narrative, right? Okay, so today we're going to talk about culture. We're going to understand what culture really means from our day-to-day life in our working environment, what we believe in, the products that we ship to the customers. So we're going to understand what really that culture means. We're going to figure out why some people want to wake up like they cannot wait for the Monday morning to go to the office. Others cannot wait for the Friday to go to the out of the office in their weekends. So why does that happen? The culture does not get destroyed in a single day, but it's a progressive thing. Depends on what people are really doing in their environments. So without wasting much of our time, allow me to welcome our moderator, Miss Rita, to the stage, and she'll introduce us our speakers. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Are you guys excited to be here? Hey, I'm sure if you looked at the title, Team Culture is not a pizza party. Maybe, how many of you understand the title? Hey, you guys don't understand, so why are you here? All right, without further ado, we're going to try to make this really quick. We have a great set of panelists, and even I'm curious what they have to say tonight. I'm going to invite them one by one as I say what. So we're going to start with Yannick, and he is the CEO, Chief Executive Officer of Osamity Lab. Please give him a round of applause. I'm going to welcome Aristide, the Chief of Staff, and he's a product designer at the National Bank of Rwanda. Now, we have a more interesting one, Richie Rusa, and they say here that he's a product manager of science technology. But if you guys know Ballistic Burger, he's the Chief Executive Officer, founder of Ballistic Burgers, and he's going to also tell us more about it. So, we're going to get started. So we're going to get started, and I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about myself, right? So that you can about me, right? I'm no founder yet, but I work at Bank of Kigali in the strategy and market intelligence team. And I think before that, all right, great. So previously, I had the opportunity of working in an incubator, and it's much different than working in the corporate world. So I have a bit of understanding of what the culture can be. But we want to hear more from our moderators, our panelists, and we want to know who you are and how you actually ended up where you are in your career. We can start with Aristide.
Yes, thank you, Del. Anyway, is there anyone who doesn't speak Kinyarwanda? Oh, sorry, I was going to use Kinyarwanda, but I'll use English. Hi, everybody. Como conges? So my names are Dakebuka Yostidi Shimwe. I'm a product designer at BNR, the central bank. And I've been fortunate enough to work into different institutions. Previously, I was at BK. Actually, Rita was my colleague. And before that, I was at BRD. And before BRD, I was at the National Police. My journey has been quite similar to any other creative here. We start as self-teaching, basically from YouTube University, get a job, work on personal projects, and as we grow, we get a chance to walk into those institutions. So we'll get into details as we speak. Thank you.
Richie, can you tell us? Can you tell us? Can you please tell us about yourself and how you ended up where you are?
Thank you. Hi, guys. Um, I've been in tech for hundreds of years now. I won't talk about the years because you start doing the math. I'm an artist by creation and DNA. I found myself in computer stuff by accident. I ended up studying computer science and tried to connect both the art and the tech world, and got exposed to what is the creative aspect of building and designing computer software. Started learning about UI, UX, and eventually the product space became a thing for me. And for the past couple of years, I've been working on a lot of exciting products in different sectors that touch lives in one way or the other, whether it's the logistics space, the transport, the retail, agriculture, education, government, and currently in health. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Yannick Kabaiza. I'm one of the co-founder of our Summity, and we are a tech company based in Kigali, Rwanda. So my journey, funny enough, actually, Richie was my first boss. So I managed to only work at one company since graduating from high school. So for the last 11 years, I've been employing myself. Thank you.
I like how we have a diversity. They've all been in more than one place, right? So I want to ask the next question. Where all the places that you've been that you're like, yeah, the vibe was right. Like, this is the one place I really wanted to be.
So for me, I might be a little bit biased because I only worked at one place. Oh no, actually two. The other was like an internship. So I started as delivery guy at not delivery, but marketing guy at Hello Foods that now changed to become Vua Vua. But before that, I was working with Richie and his team. They had, for those who don't know, like one of the best startups in Kigali. So my journey there is actually what I would say that shaped me a lot. One of the things that I can talk about a lot of things that they had as part of their culture, but one of the things that we enjoyed there was that they encouraged us to fail. So fail fast. It wasn't something that we were punished for. So go there, explore. Worst case scenario, you just get to learn something as you go. So yeah, that's it on my side.
Yes, thank you, Rita. So for me, I can't say just one place. So allow me to say two. So the first place would be my first job. So my first job was I was a visual designer for the Rwanda National Police, and I think that really shaped me till today, till how I work today. You know, the excitement for the first job, the first salary. I was still in university, so that all that adrenaline was really amazing. And I'd say another place that really now shaped me, that cemented that the police did, was now at BK. Because at BK, basically at the police and other places I worked, I was mostly alone. I was the only designer in the institution, or maybe two. But when I joined BK, it was a design team, product designers, motion designers, visual graphic designers, and basically all designers. And so working with designers in a team of designers, it really helps you grow, because you get insights from a motion designer, as a product designer, because it also involves designing graphics. You also get insights from a visual designer. So that really helped me grow now to where I am now. Yes, I would say that really that's the two most places that shaped me. But also along the way, everywhere I worked really had something to do with where I am now. Yes, thank you.
Um, hmm. So back in university, there was this Google program, the Google Students Ambassador. Google used it as a strategy to kind of activate their products on the continent, but generally even globally. And as I was struggling with finding a connection between basically the world I thought or considered mine, the creative space and computer science, I found myself being one of the program managers for Google here. And we started discovering the world and would attend some of these conferences organized by Google. It was super colorful. Everyone was happy. There was free food and a bunch of games. And you just spend the day feeling like it's work, but not work. And I was like, I didn't know what culture was then, but I just love the vibe and the spirit. You didn't know titles. You would see someone and later they tell you this is the VP of this and that. And you're like, oh, I'm just a student. But yeah, it was quite fascinating getting that exposure. And I think it ingrained in me, it left me with something to build on for the startups we've been fortunate to be a part of and build. I always wanted to be at the forefront of, okay, let's drive this culture. I want to be a contributor of the culture. And up to date, everywhere I go, I feel like I just want to be a culture champion more than anything else.
Nice. So I like how everyone mentioned, if you heard, they all mentioned their first job or something in their past job, right? Now, I would like to know, in your day-to-day work now, what does the culture look like? You can go first, Yannick.
All right. So at our summit, what does our culture look like? Very interesting question. So I would say because our summit was founded by 4 people, and both of us all had like the same background. We are all engineers. So our culture also reflects the engineering way of doing things. So we reward people who take ownership, people who innovate. We don't. So we're a small company. So we currently don't have like a whole HR department. So we don't outsource our that kind of policy to someone else. So everything we do is actually what we've seen that works for us, and then we try to put ourselves in the shoes of also like our team members. So would I be happy if someone also like doing these kind of things to me? So it's a bit kind of like what Rich was saying. So like the kind of vibe or the feeling you get, and also what we try to learn from other tech companies. So there's not a lot of like hierarchy. So we try to say the person who actually creates something is the one who owns it. So we do not expect or try to have like different layers from the person who is creating like the product and the one who is selling to the end users. We want that line to be as short as possible. And that if someone takes that kind of ownership, they also like want to see their product successful, and also like take that kind of load from you, where you have to worry about, is it working? Is someone taking care of it? Or is someone like considering the client's use case or what the client is expecting? So having people actually like caring about the product they are building is one of the best things that we found that works for us, especially for like a tech company or tech departments.
I will go next to Richie because you have a bit of a tech background as well. What does it look like in the tech space? And then you can quickly move into the other roles that you have that are non-tech.
Okay. One thing I learned the hard way along the way is that the thing I loved about culture then with Google was not necessarily how I perceive culture today. It's not a pizza party. It's not a ping pong table. It's not core values written on a wall. There's more depth to it over time. You get to learn that people want to be heard, people want to be seen, people want to be empowered. And the more you create an environment where there's openness and transparency, in the things that you do on a day-to-day. There's a deep sense and genuine sense of recognition and acknowledgement towards effort. All those things kind of are probably a starting point to activating things before you even make your offices beautiful or play music while doing work or bring bottles of beer and snacks and drinks, you know. So yeah, currently I've also gotten to appreciate that culture has shades, whether it's in one company or different companies. For example, the previous company I was in, I saw a transition between what I would say, what I would call the family-like culture. When I joined the company, we were probably 50, 60, 80 people. And then overnight, you're 200 people. The dynamics change significantly. 60 people can say, let's grab a bus and go to this place and hang out, and everyone becomes friend. We're a family kind of thing. But then as you grow, it matters less to try and fight for that. And there's another identity, another cultural identity that comes in. And I also believe that culture is not only the DNA of the founders or the people who birthed the company initially, but it can also become the sum of the people that carry that DNA and a lot more other positive DNAs that are going to shape the culture towards maybe another direction. So we moved from a place where maybe it was a lot of let's grow together, we are young, we are figuring things out, to a place where there was real demand in, okay, we need results. It's a make or bust kind of thing. And when you're not conditioned and ready to do that, it becomes a big problem and a big shift. It makes or breaks. So you have all those dynamics. Today, I'm now in a culture where there's a lot more autonomy in how you do things. It can be scary for some people, where you're basically entrusted with things. Figure it out. Show us what we're getting wrong. Teach us what we need to do, and all those are different dynamics of cultures that you find and encounter. For ballistic, for example, we are also transitioning. 4, 5 years ago, most of the things I did was hire role. I don't expect you to know anything. Come as you are, and let's bring in experts, consultants that can work alongside and shadow you along your way, and you learn the craft. And for most of the consultants who will bring on board, we'll tell them, your first mandate is not to do, is to train. Now we're at a place where the business has to expand. And now I'm demanding results. I'm hiring more experienced people. I need people with skill sets that are going to take us to the next level, because it's no longer a 1 month thing and there's a lot more to be done. So there are all those transitions. It doesn't mean that the people that you had feel left out. If you really did the right thing to empower them, then there's a place for them to grow in the company and also contribute significantly. Yeah.
Thank you, Richie. I think, Aristide, from what you mentioned in your introduction, you've worked more in the big companies, corporate world. What does it feel like to work there?
Yes, thank you, Rita. So I'd say, okay, I'll talk on the work perspective and on the culture perspective. So working in, let's say not in currently I work at BNR. We can consider that as a government institution. But previously I was at BK, which is more a commercial institution. And the work at BK was really great, and the team was amazing. It was designers, creatives, basically around you. And I'd say it was a cool team. From the dressing, we could wear a t-shirt to work, a jeans. And now switching from that to a government institution, you get like a culture shock, basically. Starting from the work, you can say the government institutions are not far behind, but they are a little bit behind from the commercial institutions like BK. So in that case, you need to introduce like some workflows, basically doing the creative work. Your boss thinks that today you wake up, so do this, you have to do that. You have to explain to him that you have to go through processes, reviews, ideation, and all that. And also, the bigger shock comes with the culture. So when you go into a government institution, you are now introduced to the culture. Yo muri institution from the dressing. They tell you have to wear shirts, you have to tuck in, you have to have ties all day. And for the past 6 or 7 years, I had not even wore a tie in my life. Now you have to buy a tie. Even if you don't wear, you have to keep it at the office. Because if there is a meeting with the boss, everybody has to wear a tie. And if you don't even have a tie, that will be a problem. So I think that comes in as a culture shock. And but what I think is you adapt to it. You try to introduce all the cool things that you brought from BK. Some are your boss understands them. Some are a little bit taboo to the company. For example, when I joined BNR Friday, they told us you can wear anything. So the first Friday I wore a jeans. And when they told me you can't wear a jeans, I said, but you told me I can wear anything on Friday. So you understand that even not the formal wear also has an etiquette to it. Yes, but with time you adapt, you get used to it, and yeah, I can say that basically that's the most thing that shock you when you move from corporate to a more government institution.
Thank you very much, guys. Aristide is for the techies in this room who wear jeans and sneakers and t-shirts to work, and for those of us who work in government or corporate world, you come in a tie every day. Maybe the high heels for the girls or the closed shoes. It's tough, huh? It's different culture, especially if you're a tech person, you have to switch into that. Then we can talk, it kind of slightly goes into what makes people want to come to work. So I'm gonna tackle it from a perspective of a developer and a designer. What makes them genuinely want to come to the office to open their laptop with energy in the morning and get going? We can start with Richie.
Is the point to get them to the office? You'll fail.
So you see, the problem is some of us have to work in the office, so you can tackle both.
That's a good one. The goal is not necessarily probably to get people in the office in this day and age. 4 days of my week, I'm literally in my at home working. At the end of the day, is the strategy in place clear? I think clarity of vision and clarity of strategy are really the first thing I feel that matter, because whenever there's ambiguity, fear kicks in, confusion comes in, and people start hiding behind walls because, okay, you don't know what's expected of you, you're winging it, and but at the end of the day, when there's clarity, everybody knows what they're working towards. There's probably extraction. If you're a C-level, you have to deal with ambiguity. You get paid the money for that, right? But as it cascades down, you realize that clarity is very, very critical for people to actually thrive and know what is expected of them and know what success looks like and be able to actually contribute towards those goals. So I would say that is a first. And recognition, I can't stress it enough. I think we take it for granted, and our culture generally, I realize we are terrible at recognizing. The best somebody does is noko kosha, and that's so condescending when you know what someone has actually done, and that constant communication and feedback loop. What am I getting right? What am I getting wrong? How can I contribute more? And be receptive. For those that are really, really willing to take on new challenges, give them that space to experiment and give them the space to do the things that could take you to the next level, things that you couldn't even imagine or you wouldn't imagine that
you were able to do. Some of those are probably 2-year goals that they are going to narrow down into maybe 6 months. So it's a mix of all that, really.
Thank you very much, Richie. So Aristide, what is that for you that makes people want designers or come to work and open their laptop?
Yes, thank you, Rita. So speaking from a designer's perspective, and I think it also applies some to the developers. So in nature, designers create, and that comes with I can call it excitement. Waking up that you know that you're going to create something, and something that is not there. That basically itself is an excitement that you wake up with, go to work really excited. And another thing that really helps is the team that you work with, your colleagues, your boss. This is my former boss, Ines. Please give it up for Ines, the best boss in the country. So the team that you work with, they really, I can say, inspire you to do more. And that also, for designers and creatives, our recognitions basically comes directly from our superiors or our peers, and also the applications of what we do. For example, if I'm given a task of creating maybe billboards for BK, I create them, and tomorrow I wake up, I go in the road, I can see them all over the place. That itself is the recognition to my work. And also another thing that really helps is the culture. I said team and culture might be different. The culture of the organization might be, okay, the team might be really amazing, but the culture of the organization really not that amazing. So the team, the organization, and as Richie said, also the recognition. You have to know that the thing you do really make an impact. And another thing is your personal growth now. A personal experience is, a lot of people say, if I get this job, ngoba maina kazi katari kenshi bakamemba naribi. They say if they pay me and I don't do anything, it's fine. But I can tell you from my personal experience, I worked somewhere. It's a really big bank, the BRD. And to be honest, we had no work. It's a development bank. You just do one report per month. You can work on a presentation once a week. And in the morning, you wake up, you go to work, you open your laptop, you're on YouTube. At the 25th, they pay you and you're like, this money, I'm not doing anything. And you personally also, there is that guilt that comes with not making an impact where you are. So I may say that those are the most things that works for designers: recognition, your team, the culture, and the impact that you make in the organization and your personal growth.
So you kept mentioning something about the team and the culture are different things. Can you please specify on that and give some examples?
Yes. So giving like real life examples, at BK, the design is its own department. So we have motion designers, graphic designers, product. So basically, if there is maybe a campaign, let's say, give me an example of a campaign. A campaign, let's say Vijereho, there is a task of working on that. You know that all of you will work on that. So that itself is really exciting. You know you will do the work. But now when you finish the work, you might find that maybe we're proposing for it to have more visibility. We want to put it on banners, on bus stops everywhere. But in the organization, they're like, no, there is too much money. So the problem is this, problem is that. You're trying to explain, and there is some obstacles along the way. Another example I can give, which also affect a lot of stuff, the small frustrations that the staff have. For example, let's say you join a very good team. You know that's the best team. So you join, and you were at the bank maybe for like 3, 4, 5 days without a laptop. They've not given you a laptop to do your work. That itself frustrates you to the point the team is really amazing, but the culture and the organizations are really becoming small obstacles along the way.
Thank you very much, Aristide. We can go to you, Yannick.
Thank you. So for us, again, I might be biased because personally for me, I have to be at work, whether I like it or not. But if I had to speak on behalf of the designers and developers, I know there's a few people from our summit here in the room. Maybe they can deny or confirm. But I also believe so they wake up every day because they like what they do. So at our summit, we have this kind of culture where the kind of project we also take in project that are, not the usual routine. So they need to be challenging. They need to be like encouraging like people to grow. For example, wake up in the morning, you're having, let's say, a meeting with a client in Germany or Netherlands. They're telling you like, I'm a farmer. This is what I'm doing. I have sheep and goats. I need to use AI to accomplish A, B, and C. And when you research, probably never have been done before by someone else, or there's also like different ways of achieving the same goal. So that kind of drive, that kind of say like, hey, I created something, it's currently being used, and I get credit for it. It's something that keep the team motivated, because I've been an engineer myself, so I know how they get easily bored. So if you do not kind of like poke them or get them like a thing that are a little bit like challenging or exciting, they can easily just fall into the loop of, I'm just waking up in the morning, I go to work, just draft one report, and that's it. But you have to make sure that the team is actually like growing. They are liking what they are doing. For example, we some of our guys like spend some nights at the office. We do not give them like any extra pay, but that kind of drive will say like, hey, I have a deadline. I have that kind of ownership. You own the good and the bad as well. So if someone has that kind of mindset, it knows just like even if you give them any amount of money, you cannot just like make them or model them the way you want it. So if you talk to anyone, I believe most of the people here are engineers. What they think that mark them the most, or the place where they enjoyed working, or like the place with the best condition, they're not gonna tell you the place where they were getting paid a lot of money. So they're gonna mention a place where I developed this. I saw 102 million users using my product. I was getting this feedback. So now every single morning or even at night, I was thinking, how can I actually like improve it? How can I actually do better? So that are the kind of thing where it's part of also like the team, the culture, but also, like the vision the company has, the kind of product you are building. So it's a combination of different parameters, I would say.
So what I'm hearing here is there's a difference between small teams or small companies, and then there's like the big company that has those small teams that are really thriving. When people are heard, when people are recognized, when people have the ownership, basically people always want to work. I guess most of us can agree that if you have something exciting, a project or a team that is encouraging you, you really want to work. Now, the problem comes when you're like pushed back in terms of your motivation, your enthusiasm to do something, because maybe a large organization does not understand what a small team, like, why is that really a big deal, or why should we spend so much on this thing? But then, of course, the companies are always trying, whether big, whether small, they're always trying to create a team culture. And here comes the pizza party talk, right? So they will buy buy pizza and bring the team together so we can have some pizza, share once in a while, have a team building or a gathering. So my question is, are those things enough? What do they actually do for the culture? What do you think, in your perspective and in your organizational sense? We can start with Yannick.
I mean, I hope so. Pizza is enough, huh? No, I'm kidding. So I think we already touched on some of the things that actually like push the team. So pizza sometimes is necessary. Like you need like to let people also get off of their comfort zone. But also, I would say it also comes down to like the DNA of the company. So whether big or small. So even for us, because in tech, you have to move fast. The moment you start like getting stagnant, or you're thinking like you're taking too long to make decision, especially in the private sector, other people are already like ahead of you. So you always need to be like ahead of the curve. So even for us can get a little bit frustrating, where you are dealing with a big institution. You're on a table, you're talking the same language, everyone understands, all the decision makers are there, and you just need someone to say, yes, let's go. But it can take 2 to 3 months. Chairman of the board has to approve. They need to present to this, to that, to here and there. And that's already like 4 months gone. But by the time a similar institution has a team that has, I would say, that kind of like a freedom. They can easily like prototype, they can easily innovate. So by the time you guys are catching up, they already like failed 3 to 4 times and they already know what they want. So you're actually like coming to catch up within something that is no longer like relevant. So I would say that's one. Second, it's mainly I would say about us. So pizza is not just enough. So we like to see actually some of the things that we developed or we put it out there like being used. If I had to share like a story, it would be about this instance where we had a client where we developed like a user-facing app, and in our contract, it was supposed like to be done and then handed over to the clients for maintenance. But then, so the app became like very successful. But when we handed over to the clients, they didn't like manage it pretty well. So even for us, seeing like our work there being like not used to its maximum was already a huge problem. Even our name was attached to it. So we went to the client and say, hey, we're willing to actually like improve it for you, even though we see that you are not, taking care of it. So kind of like try to, I would say like import part of our ownership or culture on behalf of the client. It's something ideally they should be able like to see because they're the client, they're the one getting the value. But sometimes I would say it's a 50-50. So I know a lot of creators here, we tend to fall in love with our creation or our products. So sometimes it's good, but also sometimes it's bad. So yeah, that's the note I'd like to close on.
Thank you very much. Aristide, what a pizza party is enough.
Thank you, Rita. Yannick, I would like to commend Yannick, he speaks really as a CEO. He's very political. So now I'm going to speak as Rwanda Rugufi. So I think in every institution or organization, pizza will always be there. There'll be Friday pizza, Pizza Friday, there will be team buildings, but the question will really be, will your staff or the staff really enjoy that pizza? Because you'll bring pizza and people are really frustrated. Of course, they will eat it. People are hungry. But after that pizza, people will go with their frustration after enjoying the pizza, and the pizza will do nothing. So what I think really is in question is the pizza should come as a plus to the culture of the organization. Because all those Pizza Friday, the team buildings, are in place to make the organization really feel like at home, basically, for people to enjoy working there, to have the friendship in the organization. So if you really focus on the pizza without focusing first at what people feel, of how you make your staff feel, or how the culture is there in the organization, I think that will be a loss of your staff. There will be a loss of pizza. There will be a loss of many things. Yes, thank you.
Richie.
There's a famous say by Peter Drucker. Culture will eat strategy for breakfast. Just slightly perspective to this, and culture alone is not enough, right? Culture without strategy is a fun club. It's a fun club, basically. The essence of culture in a company, in an organization, is to drive meaningful impact. Is to drive results at the end of the day. So you almost need both on the same scale. And pizza party, why not burger party? Maybe we should switch it to that. But when we do put an emphasis on the glow of hey, let's celebrate, let's do this and that, we're missing the point by doing that, and people will still leave you. To the point of the case he made of one of his previous jobs. If there's no work, what am I working towards? What meaningful thing am I doing that makes me pump and feel like I'm actually the real deal. When I'm done with a mission, what's the next exciting thing? If you don't have that, people will leave. It will never be about the money. It will never be about whether you have a ping pong table or a pool table or the happy hours and pizza Fridays, but more about, at the end of the day, what is it that excites me, that I'm still doing here, and do I still find meaning? And another thing I think we need to be very comfortable with is the goal of building a kick-ass culture is not to hold people for 20 years in an organization. We also need to be very comfortable with people leaving, whether it's 1, 2, 3 years in, because you won't have the ultimate perfect culture. And your culture will just be a piece in my journey, in my professional journey. While it might be good, but if maybe whatever I had set out to do with you is done, then it's time for me to move. It's nothing about you. What matters most is what do I carry with me? Can I brag? Can I have the bragging right of the things that I did with you? And can we live on a high note? And next time we meet in another organization, it's peaceful, and you feel like you've done a great work there. So I'll keep putting an emphasis on really that sense of direction and the meaningful things that you do in an organization that will hold you there for as long as you can, and when that time comes, you just move on. But most of the things that my fellow panelists talked about are definitely spot on.
Thank you very much, Richie. I really like that quote. Culture without strategy is a fun club, right? Now we have moved to the strategic direction part. I think also Yannick mentioned that that direction is necessary, and that sort of ownership, feeling like what you're doing has value, is actually more important than having pizza. Even though the pizza feeds our stomachs, of course, no one will, pizza or the burgers, no one will say no to it. But I have another question to ask, because when we create a product or design something for the company or the organization, it goes out on the market. So have you ever used a product, a website, a service where you could just tell the team behind it was struggling or didn't care or they gave up from the outside, from the final product? Yannick, you can go. Yeah.
Yes.
Tell us more.
Are we naming names?
You don't have to name names, but you can tell us more.
Yes. Yeah, I've had that kind of experience before, even very recently. So unfortunately, I cannot not name the institution, but probably a lot of you guys have also experienced it. So if, for example, when you try to talk to part of the management team there, the engineers, you can actually feel what you just mentioned. So people actually don't care. So that ownership is not there. Sometimes you see a bug and someone is like, I'm not the Q&A, so I'm not going to do anything about it. So if you're not going to do anything about it, who's supposed to do something about it? And then it escalates at a point where it goes to the decision maker. And now the decision maker, once they come down, now everyone is running, frustrated, hey, who was supposed to do that? Who was supposed? So now they start the blame game. But it's something. So that's what I would say it's kind of part of the other small parameter of building the culture, because if everyone feel whatever I'm creating matters, is going to go on my CV, is going to go on whatever I'm trying to build, they're going to put more love into what they're doing. So maybe to give you some context, we've had some of our engineers. So before they were getting poached by other companies. So they would literally come to you and say, "Hey, I just received this kind of offer letter. This is the amount of money they are offering me. Can you guys match it?" At the end of the day, so we're also a business. So of course we see what kind of value are we getting from this engineer. How can we actually bring a better offer? But they do that because they can also project themselves and see, if I go there, I'm going to do the same thing for the next 2, 3, 4 years. So here I'm actually being able to innovate in 2, 3, 4, 5 fields at the same time. This year I'm working on a logistic project. Tomorrow I'm working with the farmers in Germany. 3 years from now I'm working with data engineers in Denmark to operate data pipeline for pharmaceutical company. So that kind of change, that kind of different option is also something they feel it's not just about the money. So even when they're on a project, they actually care about what they're building, because that's also their legacy. So to cut it short, yes, I've used a lot of products, and on top of that, when you try, because we are a software company, so we try to sell our service to everyone. So once you go there, you can actually see that people have already abandoned the product. They feel they no longer care, no documentation, no maintenance, no anything. So yeah.
But one question: is it because the customers, the clients who are receiving the product don't know how to use it, or because the team behind it was not motivated?
So if I had to answer that question from a commercial perspective, most of the time we don't blame the end users, because it is our job to make sure that whatever we're building, they can actually have that kind of a user experience. We like to give that example a lot. Not a lot of people had to learn how to use WhatsApp. It is a texting message, so you go there, you figure out things because it is that obvious. Of course, there's some kind of digital literacy needed, but your product needs to be that user-friendly. So if I was going to name the company, but if I'm going to achieve something and I have to go 2, 3, 4, 5 steps, and I have to go back, I have to call someone, that person doesn't pick up, I have, I don't know, to wait a number of hours until the product is back online. That frustration is not about me, it's actually about your product. So yeah, if I had to blame someone, then
the team is accountable.
Yes, yeah. Definitely.
Okay, so it still comes back to the team is struggling if the product is not that great. Aristide, what is your experience?
Yes, thank you, Rita. So as a product designer, I think a lot of product designers here can say it too. I think even our job is to find problems into new platforms, new websites, new apps, and everything. And I think, yes, I also see some product that really you might think that the team maybe didn't have much time, or maybe the team didn't have much resources. And with that said, I can even, without naming the institution, I think some of us here pay taxes. My friend there, Apollinaire, can testify. I think to use the tax platform, you can't use it. You have to be trained to use it, basically, because things are all over the place. The flow is not what you think it is. If you press on print, you might get, even your laptop might shut down. So I think, but that comes with resources, because some of those platforms were built when institutions couldn't understand that they need product designers, that they need developers. But I think that is a little bit changing in organization, and even in BNR. I think we joined, me and another one, we were the first product designers in BNR in its history. And they have a lot of products. So institutions are really getting there slowly. Yes, I can say that maybe that it might be a problem of resources, and but with time, I think it will come. Yes, so that's one example. Rwanda Irving, let me name the. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yannick.
So for me, it's a bit tricky because of the number of products already shipped, and most of our products are actually business to business or business to government. Should have probably brought a few testimonies from the end users. But what we always try to achieve is once we ship a product, we want people to use it and be like, wow, like who thought about like this specific feature to achieve this and that. So we want our users to be like, I want to also be in that room when they were like discussing or thinking about like implementing this and that. So that's the kind of feeling, because for us it's also again always about business. So we want them to come back again to us. So in order to achieve that, you need to give like a very good first impression that stay with the end users. So how you do it, it can change based on the sector, based on the end users, based on the product, all those kind of things. But the core is always like the end users to always be like, this is actually making my life easier. This is helping me like generate more revenues, or it is helping me like stay consistent, let's say. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Guys, I think we've all heard a lot of interesting perspectives, viewpoints, different teams, different culture. We've had more than just culture in this conversation, but I'm going to ask us to just wrap it up in one sentence. If culture is not a pizza party, then what is it? In one sentence, just one.
Culture is the soil, strategy is the seed.
Sorry?
Culture is the soil, strategy is the seed.
Okay, culture is the soil, strategy is the seed. Guys, did you hear that? Do you guys understand that? Very philosophical. Aristide, do you have an answer for us? You're still thinking. You guys can still refresh, huh?
So for me, I'm a fan of like pineapple on a pizza. So I might be biased again here, but I would say, so ownership is that kind of like pineapple on that pizza. So we talked about a lot of things where like pizza also comes in, but pizza without pineapple is not my thing. So again, culture without ownership, whether from the team, management, or anyone else involved, it's not a good culture. Yeah.
So I'd like to approach it more on a poetic point of view. And I'm trying to find the punchline. Maybe my friend Apollinaire, the guy with the amazing art, is a poet. You know how all poems start? The generic line: roses are red, violets are blue. Team culture is not a pizza party. Apollinaire. It's a product. Give it up for Apollinaire.
Okay, I hope you guys learned something. Now, because this is an honest conversation, I'm sure some of you guys want to know something from our panelists here who have given you a lot of perspective, a lot of descriptions. So who in the audience, I'm going to stand up. Who in the audience has a question they would like to ask, something they would like to know, guys? It's a free space. There we go.
Thank you. Thank you for the great conversation and insights. I actually have two questions. The first question is about the change in perspective regarding culture. So some of you guys were employees and then became CEOs and founders. I really want to see if that changed your perspective, because when you're an employee, it's very easy to complain and say like, the management is not doing well, they're not giving us enough money, not enough pizza parties. So how did that change for you guys? And the second thing, so it's more about Rwandan culture in general, pertaining to the workforce. I'm an outsider, kind of. So I think I've made the observation that I might be right or wrong, but in general, Rwandans are not very conflict ready. So you guys are not very confrontational. And this could be good, it could be bad, it depends on how you explain it. I'm interested, how do you deal with conflict in the work area, whether with your managers or the people who report to you? I'm really interested to know how that works in the Rwandan culture. Thank you.
Thank you very much. who is ready to answer that question? I think Yannick is the one who moved from being an employee to being a CEO, so you can answer the first question. But also Richie can add his piece of the cake because he's an employee and a CEO at the same time in the same space. So would any of you love to answer the first question? Then from the second question, Aristide, as a Rwandan.
So to be honest with you, my perspective also like changed because initially we also so we grew from a team of 4 people to 35 plus engineers. So initially it was just something that was we were all considered like as employees, so the founders. So things were pretty much like straightforward. We could start coding at 8 in the morning and then go home at 2 again in the morning and be again at the office by 8. So for us, it was something that is, kind of like very usual. But the more you bring people on board, the more also like the mindset, the kind of like, say, unwritten rules inside the company now have to be like more formal because as you are growing, there's still some kind of like direction or thin line between what should be done or what shouldn't be done. So expecting people to be at work on time. For example, like writing like a few rules here and there. It's not something that we initially weren't even like comfortable with that because we felt if I tell you something, you already know that you should be doing it. But we are dealing with human beings at the end of the day, so it's very. It also like facilitates or makes your life easier when things are like properly structured. So during that transition where you also like have to grow, you no longer have to deal with a lot of I would say like a daily operation of the company. So for me, I'm speaking from like an executive point of view. So now you also have to trust your teammates. They are not co-founders, but they are people that actually like share the same vision. So the vision you are putting out there for everyone to see, okay, this is the direction. How we get there, it's up to you guys. So also trusting them with that kind of like initiative. If we mess up, we own everything. If we succeed, it's everyone's success. So all those kind of things, that's why I'm saying like you cannot figure out everything at once. So you grow also through the journey. But I think I mentioned it in the beginning. So for us, our culture also relate to what we've been doing as engineers. So putting ourselves in the shoes of also the people we work with. So would I be comfortable if I was there, if I was doing like a B and C, but also on the other side, knowing to say, okay, this is the limit. If you doing something that is not like in line with the company policy or core values, then perhaps you're no longer fit to be part of the team. So yeah.
Thank you very much, Yannick. Richie.
The top-down perspective is often the conflict between the usual, basically what has made that company what it is and what ought to take the company to that next level. Most leaders, for them to drive a culture change, will get cold feet. And acknowledging that we are past the times where everyone is together, the different stages I talked about. Maybe we are at a stage where result is what's critical, and then we're at a stage where the unit economics are what's critical, and then we get to a stage where we are corporate, suit and tie, because there's a place for that culture as well. And informing that transition and being very intentional and very strategic about it. The key is understanding, okay, why is this change? What is happening to us? We are past this and we need to get to this place. This is the direction, this is the vision, and this is what the kind of DNA is going to take for us to get there. It's less about learning. It's more about being subject matter experts. It's less about being subject matter experts. It's about being systems oriented. It's less about being systems oriented and it being about stabilizing what we've had and build a legacy company and be able to understand the kind of DNA that takes is critical. For an employee as well, it's just important to have an agile mindset towards the fact that things will not always be the same. If you're in a company for 5 years, you'll probably witness a lot of change, and that tells something. Do not get overly attached with the past. Oh, we used to do this, we used to do that. Just understand what's happening in an organization. And it's important for the leaders to communicate. And when that communication is clear, I think there's less tension and resistance and more buy-in. You lose some, and you win more, that will come and take you to that next level as well.
Thank you very much, Richie. Aristide, as a Rwandan.
Yes, I'm actually mixed, but I will speak from a Rwandan side. I'm Rwandan and Jamaican.
Oh.
Wagwan. Yes, thank you. So explaining that, I think I'll look at two sides. So the side of an employee and the side of his supervisor or the leader. So on the side of an employee, that implies more on you personally. So as you mentioned, I think you even know Rwandans very well. Rwanda are not much confrontational, and Rwandans are very quiet. If I get a problem at work, I will go at home, vent to my wife, to my husband. Even people here who has wives and husbands. You go home, you vent you go home, you vent to your person. The next day, you go back to work. The same thing happens. The cycle keeps going. But you have to understand that the institution has policies and measures in place to protect you at your workplace. If you have an issue, even with your supervisor, even with the CEO or anyone at the institution, there is measures in place to resolve that conflict, and you go to work in peace. And I think, but times have changed. Even Rwandans nowadays even understand it's not even about at work, even in our daily lives. Someone calls you 3-4 times, he's messing with you. You tell them tomorrow I will call Rib on you. But Rib is everywhere, but when you get at work, that's where it stops. So you have to understand that the institution owes you your peace of mind, owes you a very good working environment. So if you get that problem, there is ways of resolving that. And now for leaders, you have really to be, I think at some point we'll all be leaders, inshallah, right? So you have to understand that you also owe peace to your people. You have to be a leader who's really approachable, who create a very good working environment for your staff, so that in case there is even a problem, they can approach you and you resolve it. And that implies to different levels. Maybe if I have a problem with my supervisor, I can approach his supervisor, but that has to mean that the supervisor has a good relationship with us. Yes, I think that explains it well. Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much. I really liked the word trust. You know, like when you feel trusted in your work, you're like more motivated to work. When you feel trusted in whatever you want to put out there to the end user, you feel encouraged to work, and it kind of creates a good team culture. I also like the agile mindset, Richie, because yeah, whether we like it or not, we need to be agile in this volatile, uncertain times. We need to be agile, even in I think majority of us here are very young people. We're the youth, right? And I know we're very rebellious towards our people. So I think we need to really think agile. And at the end of the day, as Aristide says, it's up to you. So if you don't take the time to go out and talk about what you're facing or speak out, of course, in a respectful and a polite way, nothing is going to change if you don't speak up. So in your areas of work, in your teams, you can do one of those things that they mentioned. I hope they answered your question. Anyone else have a question? I'll take 2 burning questions. We have 2 in the back there. If you could please pass the mic.
Thank you for sharing. It was very informative. My question goes to the founders. If you were to start all over again with the information you have now, the experience you have gained, what's one thing you would do differently in perspective to the culture and the team building? Thank you.
Thank you so much. This question goes, there's a challenge that young graduates that face when those that we have that studied like IT, whereby they pursue other careers just to earn a standard of living, but then when they reach a certain level, they just bored because they're not pursuing what they want. So, and what advice can you give them? What should they do? Should they drop out from the careers that they're pursuing and go forward for the other internships so that they can follow their careers? Or because it's really a challenge, mostly due to the unemployment that always covers so many countries. So what advice can you give them?
So if I had to restart again, what would I do differently? So that's one. It's more personal, and I had to learn it the hard way. It's actually like trust people around me. So as a founder, you tend to feel like you want to have full control, or you feel like things are done when you are the one doing it. It's not the case. So let people around you, because you actually hire people smarter than you to tell you most of the time how to do things. So your job is just, so this is the vision, like I was saying. How we get there, we could fly, we could walk, we could use a train. So it's up for the people to figure out. And then you just put in like guidance. So this is our budget. Within this budget, can we afford the train? Then they say no. So let's do this. So trusting the support system around you early, that's what I would say. Because the moment we started letting some of the things go, we're able to focus on things that matters most. We're able to move fast, scale fast. So that's definitely something I'll change.
Richie.
I've overcome the pleasing trap. In nature, by nature, I'm a pleaser. I think if I were to start again, all over again, it would be probably, I'd be a lot more candid and very feedback oriented, just to ensure that people know how I feel about what they're doing, and it's communicated clearly without.
Direct.
Yes.
We're very indirect as people, but
Jeez.
direct. Is that all? Do you have anything else to say?
No, that's it.
Okay, awesome. So the other question was young graduates, unemployment is a problem. And perhaps you studied tech and you're doing something you don't like doing. What should you do with this issue? Now, I'm going to let someone in the audience as well answer this question. I feel like there's someone in this audience who has a very good answer, but I'll also let you guys answer if you have something come to mind. But if you're in the audience and you want to answer that question, or you've been, I wouldn't say victim, you've experienced that issue, what would you have to say to those people who are experiencing the same issue?
She talked about the fear of conflict. One of the other things I've observed about us as a culture is there's false modesty and low self-esteem. I feel like we need to grow in confidence. There's a bag of knowledge, even in people who are fresh from school, that we don't get to witness. Every time you sit on an interview panel where you have a Rwandan and a foreigner, you almost have to read between the lines to see the gold in the Rwandan because they can't bring it out, yet they have it within. And I think we shouldn't shy away with 12, 15, 18 years of schooling. It's a bag of knowledge you already have. When you're done with university, trust what you know. Do not blame the system. Now turn that into something tangible. And whether it's through internships and different programs that you get into, be bold to try out things because that's how you train the muscles to actually create value and make people get to appreciate what you do. Be vocal about things. Talk. That's how recognition is done in this world. Literally, influencers, what they have on us is they talk about their stuff, you know. Kagarara is he's taking us through his life right now, and we love it. And he's getting recognized for it. So that's the formula. Let's dare and try, and eventually it will come. Beyond that, for you to stay within your shape and the passion, I feel like there's a lot more opportunities to experiment and try out things. The gig economy is real. Do not limit yourself within the confinements of our borders. You can literally work from across the world while seated here. And there are so many opportunities for starters and the topmost senior people. So go grab those. Let's not be lazy. There are so many opportunities. Talk to people. Whoever you meet, they will point you probably in the right direction. The goal shouldn't be a white collar job or a 7 to 5. It should be, am I doing what I like, where I want to thrive? And that's a starting point. The reality is Rwanda will not absorb all the talent that's being produced right now necessarily yet, because we are in the formation stage. Industries are being birthed and so many other things. You're probably the pioneer. You're the next founders that we're looking for, who's going to create jobs for others, and just have a 360 perspective of life, and there's going to be a place for you, and you'll definitely thrive.
Thank you very much, Richie. I think you answered multiple questions in one answer. I think you also responded to her question, but I still want someone in the audience to answer that question. Thank you very much.
Let me try. I've had maybe some good years in IT and technology. Most of what I know is most of the people who started with IT, taking it at university, did it out of passion. The majority do it out of passion. So this other wandering off is a learning curve. And today, IT is the language. Everyone is now going back into IT so that they can do this. So take heart and look at that as a learning curve. Many things that you've seen are going to come back in full flow, and you realize that now you can create so much because you had this experience, you had that experience. Around 10 years after everything you've gone through, IT will still come back to you, and it will tell you because it was your first passion, the first cut, you know.
Thank you very much. Listen, is
something real quick. So on that topic, I wanted to also give a relatable example. So for example, one of our best engineer did civil engineering. So he's a constructor, but he's one of the person who write like some of the best codes I've seen. Our AI engineer also did, I think, biomedicine or bioscience, but he's someone who can sit down and build some of also the best custom models. So try also not to limit yourself, because I wouldn't recommend like dropping out, because dropping out is not going to give you a job. So try to be more of like a generalist. So don't feel like you are specifically supposed to do one thing. And try also like to learn from the different environment or what other, let's say, companies are doing. For example, if you look at Anthropic, so currently one of their approaches is they're developing different specialized like models or verticals for, let's say, HR, teachers, coding, all those kind of things. So you might be doing something that can actually add value to what someone else is building. So what they say, like in the past, for someone to do IT, you needed to be able to program or to write code. It's no longer the case now with AI. So try to see what are the kind of skills I have right now, was actually like building something relatable or something that I can actually like leverage and try to be like an expert in those different fields. You can combine 3-4 models. You just use natural language to communicate with them. And again, so by the time other people are catching up with you, you've already like failed 4 to 5 times. So you actually know what you're building. So you're no longer gonna say like I'm an engineer, but I'm actually like understand within like this specific field what I can build, what I can take advantage of. So do not limit yourself to what you are currently like experiencing at the moment. And also to add on what Richie was saying, even for us, majority of our market is from Europe. So those are like the client we target. So if you cannot find something here in Rwanda, just be more open-minded. So you'll be competing with the Vietnamese, Pakistanis, Indians, so it's globally. So now once you land that contract, it also give you like a boost saying within all these people, actually like people trusted me to do A, B, and C. So now it also give you like that kind of confidence and you are also open to a bigger market. So do not like currently limit yourself to what you're seeing because things change fast. So you just need to be able like to learn and also to stay open-minded.
Yes, sorry, Rita. If I also can add something, it touches on what everybody said. If we look at how the education system in Rwanda is built, so basically they take you, they give you a lot of information and a lot of resources and put you out there. If you look at a normal kid, it's primary, secondary, university, and after university you'll get that internship and tuvugishije ukuri ntabwo expecting ko internship sorry if we are honest you can't expect that in 3 months you'll get the knowledge needed to work maybe at Osamiti at BK. So what I would say, maybe it doesn't even apply to us, but it might apply to our younger brothers, our children, is also to look out on practical things to do bitajyanye n'amashuri cyane. Because if you see the developers here, the designers are all self-taught. And we live in an era where there is a lot of resources. There is anything you want, there is information. So that really can help them, the upcoming generations. Because even the times we're going in are really hard. There is AI. Now people here are losing jobs, designers, farmers, teachers, everyone. So finding something to do kitari ku ishuri cyane, not expecting that I will go to school, finish, get an internship, get a job. That doesn't really work anymore. Yes, thank you.
More of the story, stay curious. Literally, stay curious. It's a learning curve. Whether you're doing what you love, whether you're not doing what you love, you can be the change agent, you can be the influencer, you can be the person that shapes the culture at your work. Be confident. I don't even know what else to say. Now, what I'm going to do, we are at the end almost of our session, and I can see you're all still engaged. You want more, but time is up. So I'm going to pick on 5 people. Stay bold. Yeah? You're going to tell me one thing that you're taking away from today, either for yourself, either for your team, that you can use, something you learned.
One thing that I learned was that culture requires ownership. Yeah, got it from Yannick.
Thank you. One thing I have as takeaway is like culture without strategy is nothing. Thank you.
Sometimes I feel like people on the panel are being too political to politicize these things, right? So they were like, you have to be on the side of the bosses, on the side of the engineers, but these bosses of ours, we owe them, they don't owe us, right? So of course we have the duty to deliver, but think of this: you are in the company not because you want it. You are in the company because there is something that you are getting, right? So when we say team culture is not a pizza party, then what? You may work in a company without even those benefits, and then you still work, right? Because you don't have that capacity of building your own thing, right? So better you like it or you don't like it, tomorrow you wake up and then go there, right? So we owe them more than they owe us. That's the thing I can say. Thanks.
Before we continue, I want to ask Richie, is that true? As an owner,
I tend to disagree. I literally run a business that I can't take any credit on right now. I can't say that my employees at Ballistic owe me more than I owe them. I'm literally at their mercy. I need them desperately, more than they need me. There's probably hundreds of joints out there that can hire them in a blink of an eye because they know they've worked for a business and they have experience. And it's also the mindset that broken leadership takes, where you feel very entitled by people working and almost have that slavery mindset, and it's not the right posture for a leader. The sooner you realize that you need to serve those you lead, the more things will get better. And the sooner you realize that it's got to be a win-win, the more you put structures and build a culture that enables people to actually thrive and teach you some. Many of the smartest brains in the world actually hire much smarter people than them. What does that expert owe the CEO? So I think that's a broken mindset, in my opinion, because on one end, you get taken advantage of, and you won't speak up, and you won't elevate yourself to actually know your worth, and you'll always suppress yourself and be there for as long as it takes. And when the oppression can't stand anymore, you run, broken and heartbroken. And for the leader, they'll just be the evil one. There's a world for where it's a win-win, and I believe many organizations are making that effort. And let's also remember, our leaders are learning. They'll make their fair share of mistakes. You're also growing in. Extend the grace and make sure you're also getting the respect that is due. But do not go in thinking you're more desperate than they are because of the paycheck. Because you're probably creating more value. You're generating billions for that company. That's how they get to pay you. So that's just my take.
thank you very much, Richie. Know your value and create that value, then people will come and run for you. Let's go.
Thank you. My takeaway is to share the vision with the whole team and to trust the team to get you there. Yes, thank you. This person? Yes.
My takeaway will be the quotes by Richie. The first one was culture will eat strategy for breakfast. And culture. Wait. No, it's huh? No. Culture without strategy is a fun club. Yeah.
All right, thank you guys so much. Please give a huge round of applause to our panelists, but also a huge round of applause to yourselves, and a huge round of applause to Braxo Hubs that helps us learn with one another. And I will give the mic back to Brian, and then we can call it
A huge round of applause to the moderator.
All right. Well, to be honest, this is the best tech talk we've ever had since we started. Thanks to the amazing speakers. So I've actually learned a thing or two. First of all, is some companies don't even get the pizza. They get the biscuits. Another thing was Rwandans are not confrontational, right? Summer, where did you get that? Is it true? Okay, I guess so. Anyway, I have nothing to add on. I think most of the things have been covered, and they even gave out some motivation to younger people who are here. So I believe we're going to take what we've learned here into our teams and try to apply it. So without wasting much of our time, we now come to the interesting part. So we're not concluding this yet. So there is snacks and drinks there. So we're going to connect. Yeah, no pizza today.
Yes, boy.
Yes. So, like they mentioned their profiles, these are high people. For example, I know Richard, he doesn't know. Okay, we've came to know each other soon, but while I was in the university back in 2016, 17, there, we had this hackathon. It was organized by Facebook, and I was one of the attendees, and he was the judge. So can you imagine a person with that experience, and he's here talking to us, so he has a lot to share. Please, when we conclude this, come meet him, get to know him. Munabasaba akazi. We have CEOs here. Yeah, so I would like to thank everyone who is still here. Please, a round of applause to yourself. Thank you for making it tonight. So, we're not stopping here. There's a lot of topics to cover, a lot of challenges we face from organizations, and we are trying to bridge that gap. That's what Braxo Hub stands for. That's why we are here. So, please have a great evening, and thank you again for coming. See you next time. Bye.
Yes, boy. Bari bambwiye ngo mvuge quote yanjye ndayibura, but I figured out what I will tell you. So, roses are red, violets are blue. Team culture is not a pizza party, but we have chapati.